At midnight, a cold girl at the bus stop heard the shocking words, "Can you be my mommy?" The darkness wrapped around the lonely bus stop like a heavy shroud, the kind that made your skin crawl and your heartbeat echo in your ears. It was the kind of night where shadows played tricks, where every rustle of leaves felt like a whisper from the beyond. The chill in the air seeped into the bones of anyone left outside, pulling a shiver up the spine of Lily, a 12-year-old girl bundled in a threadbare coat. As she huddled close, her breath puffing out like wisps of smoke, something unusual hung in the air, a sense of foreboding that made her feel like she was being watched. Just moments before, the streetlights flickered. One moment they bathed the bus stop in a warm glow, and the next, they dimmed, leaving only an eerie twilight. With her wide, nervous eyes, she scanned the perimeter as the world around her seemed to sigh in silence. The night felt heavier than usual, almost as if secrets were hidden in the cracks of the pavement, whispering stories only the courageous could hear. Then, out of the gray mist, she saw a figure, a girl of about her age who appeared almost suddenly, as if she had materialized from the darkness itself. She wore a faded, oversized sweater that slipped off one shoulder, revealing a tattered shirt underneath. Her eyes, bright yet hollow, gleamed with an unsettling light. "Can you be my mommy?" she asked, her voice sweet but haunting, like a distant bell tolling in the fog. Lily's heart pounded in her chest, the lump in her throat tightening. What did this girl mean? Why was she here, alone at this hour, with words that sent shivers down Lily's spine? Around them, the world felt muted, as if holding its breath, waiting for a response that couldn't come. A few passers-by glanced over, their faces marked with bewilderment, murmuring softly among themselves, a mix of shock and pity reflecting in their eyes, but there was something in the girl's gaze, something that suggested desperation and yearning. Had she lost her way? Was she searching for hope in a world that had turned its back on her? The tension flared. Was this girl safe, or was she hiding something darker underneath that fragile exterior? Before we continue, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. As the bus headlights pierced the darkness, illuminating the girls and the tension in the air, Lily felt a strange urge to help. Yet something held her back, a flicker of doubt that danced at the edge of her consciousness. Who was this girl? What dangers might lurk beneath the surface of her plea? As the bus pulled closer, the girl took a small step forward, a glimmer of something undefinable crossing her face. Time paused, and in that electric moment, Lily knew her life was about to change forever. What would she choose? The bus screeched to a halt, the sound jolting Lily from her reverie. The doors swung open with a hiss, and warm light spilled out, momentarily pushing back the encroaching darkness. The bewildered driver raised an eyebrow at the two girls. "You girls need a ride?" His voice held a mix of annoyance and concern. Lily hesitated, casting a quick glance at the apparition in front of her. The girl was stepping closer, eyes locked onto Lily's, searching, begging, something primal pulsating through the hollow gaze. "Please," she murmured, her voice fragile, like the last echoes of a faded dream. "Don't let them take me." The words slithered into Lily's gut, cold and clammy. A panic flickered in her heart. Who was them? What danger lurked in the mist? For a moment, she considered taking the girl's hand. In a world that had turned its back on so many, could she really deny this plea? But as the chill of the night seeped deeper, another instinct kicked in. She could feel the weight of wary eyes from the scattered passers-by, whispering rumors that spun around them like an invisible noose. "Wait!" she called, her voice trembling. "What's your name?" The girl tilted her head, an odd smile curling on her lips, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Maggie," she said, and for a fleeting moment, she looked almost human. But then that flicker of desperation returned, drowning her expression in shadow. Maggie, Lily echoed, testing the name on her tongue. The simple sound held weight, shifting the atmosphere between them. She stood there, torn between instinct and compassion, when another bus station shadow emerged from the darkness, a man, tall and ominous, his movements too smooth, like a predator strolling through the underbrush. His gaze fixed on Maggie, igniting a fire of instinctive fear in Lily's chest. There was something unsettling about the way the man observed them. "There you are, child," he called out, voice laced with honeyed malice. "You know you can't wander off like this." Maggie's eyes widened, flickering with the remnants of spirit, but she didn't step back. Instead, she turned to Lily, the weight of her situation crashing back into the air. "You have to help me." The bus driver shifted in his seat, clearly uncomfortable with the unfolding drama. "Hey, kid, you gonna get on or what?" Lily felt the strings of responsibility tugging at her heart. Could she really play savior? The man's presence loomed larger now, the air thick with a sense of menace. As he stepped closer, a shiver slammed into Lily, grounding her uncertainty into a solid choice. Do I let this stranger slip away into the arms of that predator? The world seemed suspended, fear wrapping around her like a tight cloak. She caught Maggie's eyes again. The vulnerability woven in their depths spoke of secrets and scars, echoing warnings that sent her instincts on high alert, and just as time began to speed up, the final words of Maggie fell from her lips, "You're my only hope." In that moment, the bus doors began to close. Lily's heart raced. It was now or never. With one deep breath, she made her choice, a choice that could change everything, a choice that might lead her into the dark web of secrets surrounding Maggie. What would happen if she stepped into that world? Would she find salvation, or would it be the start of something even more sinister? As she reached for Maggie's hand, the man lunged, shadows swirling dangerously close. The night still held its breath, and Lily could only wonder what was lurking just beyond the brink. The world came crashing back in a rush as Lily grasped Maggie's hand, a jolt of electricity shocking her into action. Time snapped back to reality, and the bus driver's startled expression morphed into a look of disbelief. "Hey, what are you doing?" he shouted, but the urgency of the moment drowned him out. Maggie's fingers were icy, sending a rush of adrenaline coursing through Lily's veins. Just as they began to pull away, the man lunged, his arm reaching like a dark tentacle into their world. "Stop!" he snarled, voice low and menacing. The adrenaline surged. Lily felt a pulse in her ears, like a war drum, guiding her instincts. She tugged Maggie closer, stumbling back just as the man's grip snatched at the air where they had been. "Don't let him take me!" Maggie cried again, her voice breaking. The desperation rang clear, even over the mounting chaos around them. This was no ordinary situation. It felt as if Maggie was fighting against something far darker than any simple pursuit. Lily's heart raced as they lurched forward, darting past the looming shadow that was the man. They darted into the bus's illuminated space, the driver's eyes wide with shock but still miraculously holding the door open. "Get in! Now!" he barked, urgency blending with the hot fear that clung to the air. With one swift motion, they scrambled in, stumbling as the driver slammed the doors shut, the heavy thud echoing in the tense silence. The man stood just outside, face twisted with a mixture of rage and hunger. His mouth moved, but the buzz of panic drowned out his words. Lily felt a fierce heat rising within her, battling the chill of the night. What did he want with Maggie? In an instant, the bus rumbling to life took them away from the darkness outside, but uncertainty churned inside Lily. A false sense of safety enveloped them, but it felt fragile, like a soap bubble in the cold wind. She turned to Maggie, who was now seated beside her, trembling. "Maggie, what is going on? Who was that man?" The words poured out, frantic but desperate for clarity. Maggie's face was a ghostly pallor, eyes wide and shimmering with unspilled tears. He's coming for me," she whispered, voice cracking. "He always comes for me. I can't go back." "What do you mean? Why would he want you?" Lily pressed, feeling the weight of the unknown crush her heart. Each question seemed to drive the knife of urgency deeper. Maggie turned her gaze toward the window, watching the blurred lights of the city race by, a tear escaping down her cheek. I've escaped before. He's not just a man, he takes people, he takes children. He'll take me again if we don't get away. The bus roared through the night, but the walls felt confining. Panic spread, twisting inside her, awakening questions she didn't want to voice. Why had she let this girl into her life? What if the danger was more than she bargained for? Maggie, please. I need to understand, Lily begged, feeling the tremors of fear seep into her bones. How can I help you? What do we do now? Maggie's gaze locked onto hers, and for a moment, there was a flicker of hope, something like resilience igniting in her hollow eyes. You have to believe me. There's south no safe place. Not until we find my mom. Your mom? Lily repeated, confusion swirling. But where is she? The dark truth hung in the air, suffocating and inevitable, as the fear that clung to them both grew heavier. Just then, the bus hit a jolt, lights flickering as if responding to the tension surrounding them. Suddenly, the driver cursed under his breath and slammed on the brakes, the screeching sound cutting through the night like glass. Lily's heart stopped as she felt the bus lurch. They were not alone in the depths of that tormenting night. What is happening? She gasped, her voice barely a whisper. Maggie's eyes widened with horror, and for the first time, Lily understood just how deep the darkness ran. But there was no time to prepare for what waited outside the pointing silhouettes cast by the flashing lights. The door swung open again, and a chilling breath of cold air filled the space. Carrying with it a sound that froze them both. A voice echoed through the night, heavy with menace. Maggie, you can't run forever. With the shadow of danger encroaching again, Lily was faced with a choice, to buckle under fear or to confront the unknown that sought to pull them back into the dark. As she heart raced, one burning question ignited in her mind: what other secrets did Maggie hide that could turn the tide of this unfolding nightmare? The driver's foot slammed on the gas, propelling the bus forward in a violent blur. The engine roared, a desperate escape from the looming terror that hung just outside. But instead of relief, an icy dread gripped Lily. The echoes of that chilling voice clung to her, wrapping around her heart like a vice. Maggie, you can't run forever, Maggie. She cried, desperation bubbling over. What does he want? Why are you so scared? Maggie trembled beside her, eyes darting toward the window as if searching for some sign of hope. He was supposed to be gone, she murmured, voice shaky. I thought I lost him for good. But now he's found me again. Lily's mind raced. What do you mean found you? Who is this man? How do you know him? But Maggie's gaze was pinned on the window, her breath coming in quick, shallow bursts. I don't know how he knows. I hear things. His voice, even when he isn't here. It feels like he's always watching. Suddenly, the bus lurched again. The driver gripped the wheel, his knuckles white with tension. Hang tight. There's something off about this road, he barked. The bus rattled, and the lights flickered overhead, the shadows outside twisted, dark figures darting just beyond the reach of the headlights. Lily's heartbeat thundered in her ears, mixing with the sound of creaking metal and the driver's frantic warnings. Stay back. He shouted as if addressing unseen dangers lurking at the edges of their reality. Maggie leaned closer, trembling so hard that it felt like the whole bus might shake apart. He's close, I can feel it. We have to protect ourselves, Lily. It's not just him. There's something more. What do you mean more? Lily felt a chill that went beyond the cold air. The girl's eyes were glassy, the innocence of childhood swept away by a tide of fear. I heard whispers, stories of children who vanish. My friends. They said he takes them. It's not just about finding my mom, it's about stopping him. Before Lily could respond, the bus careened to a sudden halt. The driver shouted, what the just before the lights fizzled and went out. Darkness consumed them. A chilling silence enveloped the bus, thick and heavy. The faint thrum of fear buzzed in Lily's ears. She could hardly breathe, the absence of light pressing down on her chest like an anvil. "What's happening?" she said, voice trembling. Maggie grabbed her hand, squeezing it tight. "He's here," she whispered, a primal fear seeping into her voice. Outside, an unnatural hush fell, and then it came a low, deep growl that rumbled through the stillness. It was a sound that sent an electric jolt of terror rippling through them both. Suddenly, the door of the bus slammed open, the sound reverberating like a gunshot. A figure loomed in the doorway, shadowy and indistinct, backlit by the haunting glow of the moon. Lily's legs felt like lead. "Did you think you could escape?" The voice hissed, slithering into their minds like a snake seeking prey. "I've been waiting for this moment. Maggie, what do we do?" Lily whispered, her heart racing. "Trust me." Maggie's voice was resolute despite her pale face. "We have to stand together." With that, an overwhelming sense of dread mixed with exhilaration surged through Lily. She was in this. There was no turning back. They had to confront the darkness, whatever it was, but as the figure stepped fully into view, she gasped, her throat tightening. Was it really him? Or had Maggie been hiding something even more sinister? The bus was a cage now, and the predator was lurking in the shadows, waiting for its moment. And then, with a grin that chilled the very marrow of her bones, the figure spoke again, his eyes glinting with malice. "You think you're safe? Oh, but the real game is just beginning." What game was he talking about? And what had they truly walked into? The figure moved closer, and Lily could see the faint outline of a face, a twisted smile stretching across his features. The sickly sweet scent of decay wafted through the air, making her stomach churn. She had to fight to keep from immediately turning away, to resist the instinct to scream and retreat. "What's the game?" she demanded, her voice trembling but defiant. "Simple," he said, eyes gleaming with a malicious hunger. "You have something I want. And it's not just her." He gestured toward Maggie, whose fear echoed loudly in the small space. "It's the essence of survival. Everything you hold dear." Maggie clutched Lily's hand tighter, her breath coming in sharp gasps. "Don't listen to him, Lily. He feeds on fear. He will twist your mind until you don't know what's real anymore." With each word, the darkness around them seemed to thicken, shadows congealing and swirling like restless spirits. Lily blinked against the oppressive gloom, trying to discern where the figure ended, and the rest of the shadows began. "You can't have us," she said, trying to sound braver than she felt. "We won't let you." A laugh erupted from the figure, cold and hollow. "Oh, you misunderstand. You already belong to me. This bus? A mere waiting room. And I can summon the others with just a whisper." The horrible realization hit her. Those missing children Maggie had talked about, were they trapped here too? Just waiting for their chance to escape, only to be pulled back by this monster. Lily felt a swell of anger rise within her, overpowering her fear. "What kind of monster are you?" she shouted, her voice bouncing off the metal walls of the bus. "Just a collector." His grin widened, exposing teeth like broken glass. "And all collectors have their price." The driver, who had been unnaturally quiet since the doors flew open, suddenly shouted from his seat, "Get away from the door. We need to get out of here." He turned the key repeatedly in a desperate attempt to restart the engine, each turn filled with increasing panic. "Too late," the figure sneered. "Once I've invited you in, the way out is ever obstructed." He took a step forward, and the shadows at his feet began to crawl up to his waist, writhing like snakes hungry for prey. Maggie squeezed Lily's hand harder still, her fingernails digging into her skin. "We have to act. We need to fight our way out." "How?" Lily asked, her heart hammering against her ribs. The thought of being consumed by whatever darkness this monster dragged with him felt suffocating. Maggie's eyes flickered with uncertainty, but deep within, something burned bright determination mixed with fear. We stand together and unmask his lies. We can take back our power. The figure watched them, intrigue flickering beneath his haunting gaze. Interesting theory. He leaned forward, his voice now a whisper that crawled through the air like smoke. But tell me, what do you know of power? Of fear? You've danced with the devil in the dark, but can you truly tame it? Suddenly, the bus jolted as the driver slammed his foot on the brakes. Lights flickered back on, harsh and glaring, illuminating the figure before them. He staggered slightly back, composing himself. The bus roared, clattering against the road's unforgiving surface, and for an instant, a window of possibility opened. Now! Lily commanded, her instincts kicking in. We have to push forward. But as they moved, the figure grinned wider, and a flurry of shadows erupted around him, swirling like a tempest. You think this is merely a game? He snarled, dark amusement twinkling in his eyes. I'll be waiting for your return. And I won't be so kind next time. The shadows coiled tighter around him, pulling him back as Lily and Maggie lunged for the emergency exit. They flung it open, a rush of cool air flooding in. Just as they tumbled out, a chilling voice penetrated the night, resonating in their bones. You can't escape your fate, little girls. The words echoed in Lily's mind longer than she could stand. They clung to her like a shroud, heavy and ominous. As they raced into the dark woods ahead, breathless and shaken, a new fear settled over her. What awaited them beyond the bus? And had they truly escaped the grasp of the monster they now knew they faced? The night crackled with uncertainty, and the chilling reminder of creeping shadows taunted them from behind. The chase wasn't over, not yet. But how much longer could they run? The woods closed in around Lily and Maggie. Each step crunched on damp leaves, the noise echoing through the heavy silence like an alarm. Adrenaline surged, driving them forward, but an overwhelming dread pulled at their heels. The dark seemed to pulse and breathe, attempting to suffocate their escape. Maggie, where do we go? Lily gasped, her lungs burning. She dared a glance over her shoulder, hoping the darkness wasn't coiling back into a form, ready to strike. Just darkness stared back, thick and unyielding. Anywhere but here. Maggie breathed out, her eyes wide with both fear and a fierce determination. We have to find help. They have to know about him. A snap of a twig sounded nearby, sending both girls into a panic. They stumbled forward, almost falling over each other. Did you hear that? Lily whispered, voice barely above a breath. Maggie nodded, fear freezing her in place for a second before the instinct to run kicked in again. It might be him. They raced deeper into the woods, trees looming like spectators in a vile theater. As they broke through a thicket, they stumbled into a clearing lit by the eerie glow of the moon. It was serene, almost beautiful, but the peace felt wrong. Something watched. Is this even the right way? Lily questioned, scanning the edges of the clearing, where dark shadows seemed to blend in seamlessly with the bark of trees. Maggie leaned against a gnarled tree, shaking her head. I don't know. We can't stop. We need to keep moving. Just then, a sound pierced the night, the distant laughter of children. It echoed around them, layered with something sinister. A knot tightened in Lily's stomach. Maggie, that doesn't sound right. What if they're not real? Maggie snapped, a hint of desperation peeking through her brave armor. They can't be. It's another trick. But the laughter grew louder, weaving through the trees like a wisp of mist. Come play with us. A sweet yet haunting voice sang. Lily's heart skipped a beat. She had heard that kind of lure before, childlike innocence masking shadows of terror. We have to move. It's a trap. With urgency coursing through their veins, they pressed on, deeper into the woods, leaving the laughter behind for now. Every noise felt amplified, every gust of wind felt like a sentient whisper, taunting them with promises and fears. Still, they navigated the twisted path, yearning for something, anything that resembled safety. The trees began to thin, and for a moment, relief washed over them. But hope quickly turned cold as they emerged from the woods into a deserted road, mist creeping around them like fingers. What now? Maggie's voice trembled, scanning the expanse, but only darkness awaited. A chill wrapped around them, tightening like a serpent. Suddenly, Lily spotted something at the edge of the road, a playground swinging in the light of the moon. The slides were eerie, and the swings swayed slowly back and forth, seemingly caressed by an unseen hand. She felt something pulling her, an urge to move toward it, but she resisted. "It's too quiet," Lily warned, instinctively stepping back. "This can't be safe." But Maggie took a tentative step forward, eyes widening as the shadows around the playground shifted, forming shapes. "Do you see that?" In the dim light, a figure emerged from the darkness, illuminated briefly by the moonlight. It was small, a girl, hair tangled and wild, her face streaked with dirt. "Can you be my mommy?" she said sweetly, though something in her eyes flickered like a candle about to be snuffed out. Lily's heart raced. "No. We shouldn't," but Maggie was already moving closer, captivated by the innocence in the child's voice. "We have to help her." "No!" Lily shouted as she lunged forward, grabbing Maggie's arm. "It's a lie. We need to get out of here." The girl's smile morphed into something twisted, shadows gathering as if waitlisters were finally finding their place. "I can show you where they are," the girl whispered, her voice echoing in the air like a promise. "If you just come closer." Lily felt the panic rise, and the world around her blurred. The shadows of the playground surged, as if the darkness itself was hungry for their fear. "Run!" Lily screamed, pulling Maggie back, desperation igniting her strength. As they sprinted toward the road, the laughter of children erupted again, sounding closer this time, a chorus of lost souls reaching out, wanting what they never had. But in the distance, from the depths of the trees, a familiar voice called out, "Girls! Come back!" The instinct to turn was powerful, but so was the urge to flee. Which way would lead them back to safety? And would they find help or only more darkness? In the chaotic swirl of fear, hope, and confusion, the chilling question lingered: what awaited them beyond the veil of shadows? Lily gripped Maggie's arm tighter as they barreled down the deserted road, the darkness closing in around them like a hungry beast. The sound of their footsteps echoed, the rhythm of fear matching the frantic beating of their hearts. Each breath was a struggle, every second felt like an eternity. "Maggie, we can't stop." Lily gasped, struggling to keep her legs moving. But just as hope flickered in the distance, a ghastly figure darted across the road ahead. A tall, gaunt silhouette, shadowy like the woods itself, stood there, watching. Time froze. "What now?" Maggie whispered, trembling. Her eyes widened, reflecting the flickering glow of the moon, but filled with apprehension. "Just keep running," Lily urged, though her voice was barely more than a breath. The fear clawed at her, urging her to turn back instead. But they couldn't afford to look. Not now. The figure vanished into the mist as quickly as it had appeared, leaving a sense of dread thick enough to choke on. Should they keep going into the unknown, or turn back and face what lay behind? A misty chill wafted around her, a ghostly whisper tickling the back of Lily's neck. "I can show you where they are." The haunting voice bounced back, echoing from every dark crevice, sending a shiver down her spine. "They're calling," Maggie murmured, half in a daze, glancing toward where the figure disappeared. "No!" Lily barked, anger fueling her resolve. "We're not listening. We have to find a safe place." Another round of laughter bubbled up, this time from the direction of the playground. It washed over them like a wave of despair, laughter longing for connection, mingled with cries lost in darkness. As they stumbled forward, the girl's words echoed in Lily's mind, twisting themselves into a mantra that gave birth to fear. "Where are they? Who are they?" Panic rose like bile in her throat. Then Maggie stopped abruptly, both girls nearly colliding. "What if no? We can't think like that." Lily interrupted, eyes darting around for any sign of comfort in an unforgiving night. Suddenly, the ground trembled beneath their feet. The pavement cracked. A gaping hole opened up dark, endless, like the punchline to a sinister joke. "Look!" Maggie pointed. Shapes were crawling from the darkness below. Faces twisted in anguish, fingers clawing desperately upward. "They're trying to escape." "No. No. We can't." The words rushed out, heavy with dread. But Maggie took a step closer, intrigued and terrified. "What do they want?" Lily tugged her back, fear clawing at her throat. "They want to drag us down. We can't let them." With one final glance at the encroaching shadows, a gnawing instinct propelled them to run, but they found it impossible to break the hypnotic pull of the abyss. The laughter grew louder, more insistent, drowning out their thoughts. Their hearts thundered as they fled, crashing through the thick mists and waving branches, every instinct screaming to escape the unseen horror looming just behind. Then, just when it seemed the darkness would swallow them whole, the distant sound of a bus engine roared through the air. A beacon of reality cutting through the nightmare. "Quick, towards the road!" Lily shouted, almost tripping over the words. The girls sprinted together, but as they neared the glimmering headlights, a shadow lingered in their peripheral vision. It was the girl with the tangled hair, standing at the edge of the playground. "Why won't you play with us?" Her voice cut through the noise, raw and pleading. "You can be happy." "No." Lily shouted again, her voice rich with defiance, breaking the fog of their panic. But before she could say anything more, she felt Maggie's hand slip away. "Maggie?" The bright headlights illuminated their path, but all Lily could see was a dark shape forming behind her friend. It began to pull her back into the shadows. "Maggie, no." Lily launched forward, adrenaline propelling her just as the figure stepped into the light. A familiar face twisted in the contours of grief. "That can't be." The echoes of laughter faded, replaced by a heavy silence. "Help me!" Maggie cried. Fear gripping her voice. And in that moment, a decision had to be made. Would she abandon her friend to save herself, or would she plunge into the dark to pull Maggie back? The night was watching and there was no answer. Lily's heart raced as she lunged toward Maggie, her legs moving faster than they ever had. She could feel the darkness swirling around them like a storm, and the chilling laughter from the playground lingered in the air. Each breath tasted like fear, sharp and metallic. "Maggie! Hold on!" She shouted, but the shadows tightened around her friend, tugging her back into the void. Desperation surged through Lily. She steeled herself, reaching out as soon as the light from the bus headlights broke the thick oncoming darkness. Just as she grasped Maggie's wrist, she felt a jolt of energy, as if 1,000 fingers were battling her strength. "Let her go!" Lily cried, her voice an unsettling mix of courage and terror. But the darkness hissed back, wrapping around them like a snake squeezing tighter, refusing to yield. Maggie's eyes were wild, tears spilling down her cheeks. "Lily, I can't," but her words were cut off as another wave of shadows surged behind them, the chilling faces rising higher from the abyss, their whispers drowning out Maggie's pleas. "Help me!" Maggie's voice broke again, and it felt like the world condensed into that one heartbreaking sound. Lily's heart ached, she could already feel the fraying bond between them. "Just come with me. I'll pull you through." Taking a deep breath, she poured every ounce of her will into her grip, yanking with every muscle she had. Suddenly, a piercing wail erupted from the darkness, sharp enough to slice through Lily's resolve. "Stay with us, Maggie. We'll be happy together." The words struck like daggers, each syllable igniting every fear she had, bringing visions of a twisted life filled with suffocating joy, forced smiles, and shadows that never left, but there was a light right in front of them: safety. The bus loomed closer, its headlights cutting the night, a mechanical guardian against the chaos. "Look at the bus. Just a few more steps." Lily felt the shadows push back harder, as if trying to hold her friend captive. Her palms began to sweat, and her breath came in ragged gasps. "Please." She pleaded with all she had left, a sound filled with sorrow and hope. "Fight. Fight this. Remember our plans?" Maggie's gaze flickered, a weakness emerging in her desperation. The darkness paused, almost as if it sensed the shift. I remember." For the briefest moment, a single smile broke through Maggie's terror. It felt fragile, like a thin line that could snap at any second. "Let us go." At that, Lily pulled with all her strength, and for an electrifying moment, she felt Maggie slipping from the shadow's weakening grasp. They stumbled toward the light, both screaming, "No!" As the shadows writhed angrily behind them, wrapping tendrils of hate through the air, just as they were about to break free, a sudden flash illuminated a horrifying sight. The girl with tangled hair had reappeared beside the bus. Her face mirrored a distorted reflection of innocence twisted by darkness, eyes burning with a promise that chilled Lily to her bones. "Why don't you want to play forever?" Lily stopped dead in her tracks, a wave of terror crashing down on her. She could feel Maggie falter beside her. The girl's voice vibrated in their bones, solidifying every fear they had ever harbored. "No. We want to play your games." Lily shouted back defiantly, but the shadows receded, absorbed by a greater darkness surrounding the girl, consuming her until only the echoes of laughter remained. Maggie hesitated, fear flashing across her face. "What if she knows something we don't?" "Don't listen. We have to go," Lily urged, but was it too late? Just then, the bus engine roared to life, the headlights brighter than ever, and the shadows flickered as if caught in a web of uncertainty. "Maggie! Please!" The night held its breath, tension thick enough to cut. The choice loomed before them: escape or succumb to the allure of the darkness. Would her friend choose the security of familiarity or the uncertain light? The question trembled in the air, waiting for an answer that could change everything. Lily's grip remained firm, but the tremor in Maggie's voice chipped away at her resolve. The girl with tangled hair stood beside the bus, a grotesque twisted smile widening on her face as if welcoming them back into the abyss. Shadows danced around her fingers, taunting and playful, as though they were alive at her command. "Maggie, no!" Lily urged again, the panic rising in her throat like bile. "You can't listen to her." But doubts crept into Maggie's eyes. She wants us to play. Maybe it's not so bad. Stop. This isn't a game. It's a trap." Lily forced the words through her clenched teeth, the darkness pressing down on her like weights. Time seemed to slow as she felt how flimsy their chances of escape were. In that moment, the girl's laughter rang out through the night, airy and sweet yet laced with malevolence. "You're scared, Lily. But look around. What do you really want?" She tilted her head, the shadows swirling around her like a cloak. "Don't you want to belong? To be loved?" An icy chill coursed through Lily, settling deep in her bones. The world blurred around her, the light from the bus flickered, casting eerie shadows on the asphalt. It felt as if the ground was shifting beneath her feet, the darkness weaving stories of twisted happiness that blurred with her memories. "No. We have dreams. Remember the summer we wanted?" Lily fought back, feeling every heartbeat reverberate with urgency. "The road trips, the laughter. This isn't it. I don't know anymore." Maggie's voice trembled, uncertainty dancing across her face. "What if she's right? We could find safety." A moment of silence hung between them, thick and heavy with dread. The haunting figure began to step forward, shadows curling at her feet. "You've always craved acceptance, Maggie. Just think of what we could create: a family, a future without pain." Lily felt her heart lurch. "Maggie, please. Stop thinking." She tugged harder, fear igniting her spirit. Every instinct urged her to remind Maggie of who they were before all this: a laughter-filled, carefree friendship. In that moment of desperation, a burst of sunlight from the bus's headlights illuminated the scene, momentarily scattering the shadows. "Look!" Lily pointed. "The bus. That's our way out. Focus on it." Maggie blinked, clarity breaking through her confusion. Lily could see the fight returning to her friend as she took a shaky step forward. "Let us go." They both lurched towards the bus, the shadows recoiling as if burned by the light, but the girl with tangled hair screeched, "You can't leave. You belong with us." Her voice echoed ominously, bridging the distance between trust and betrayal. Suddenly, the shadows surged back, crashing against them like a wave. Lily squeezed Maggie's hand so hard she feared she might break it, her heart pounding in sync with the chaos swirling around them. "Don't look back." Just as they reached the bus door, a hand shot out from the darkness, catching Maggie's ankle. Lily felt a desperate scream rise in her throat, but Maggie turned at the last moment. They locked eyes, and for one fleeting second, their unspoken bond shone like a beacon against the night. "Help me." Maggie's voice trembled as she halted. "What if she really can give me what I need?" "Fight it." Lily screamed, feeling the weight of the shadows trying to pull her friend away. The darkness was cold, pressing, and that familiar laughter echoed louder than before, promises of blissful denial that felt like poison to Lily's heart. As the shadows grew, twisting and coiling, Maggie's expression shifted, a painful realization dawning. "Lily, But before she could finish, the girl with tangled hair lunged forward, her laughter distorted and sharp, "You'll regret this choice." With all her strength and the raw power of their friendship, Lily yanked Maggie forward again, but the darkness surged, and time stretched into a lingering moment filled with raw dread. They were on the brink, a choice suspended in the air, ready to break. Would she have the strength to pull them both through the darkness, or would they succumb to temptation? The thunderous laughter echoed, and the choice loomed like a dark monster, waiting hungry, and in that critical heartbeat, everything felt poised on the edge of oblivion. What would become of Lily and Maggie as the shadows closed in? The shadows writhed like snakes, closing in on Maggie, pulling at her with a grip that felt both alien and familiar. Lily's heart thundered in her ears, yet deep inside her, something ignited a flicker of hope against the encroaching darkness. "Don't let go!" she yelled, her voice cutting through the chaotic whispers of the void surrounding them. With determination reflecting in her eyes, she pulled Maggie harder, refusing to let fear dictate their fate. "Focus on the bus. We can make it." Maggie's eyes darted between the darkness swallowing her and the flickering light from the bus. The ghostly face of the girl lingered in the shadows, her twisted smile belying the innocence in her plea. "You don't have to go back to that life, you could stay here with me," she crooned, the words slithering through the air like smoke. "No!" Maggie shouted, a spark igniting in her chest. "I want to go home. I want to find my mom." With that affirmation, Lily felt the connection between them solidify. "Then fight. Remember our plans, Maggie." The shadows recoiled for just an instant, startled by the clarity in Maggie's voice. It was like a jolt to the base of the darkness's spine. Maggie took a shaky breath, the fear threatening to turn her resolve weak, but she found her strength again. It flickered like candlelight. "We're not giving up," she screamed, her terror morphing into defiance. "Hold on," Lily urged, pulling with all her might. The two girls broke free from the suffocating hold, stumbling backwards toward the light of the bus as the shadows lashed back, hissing in fury. With a final surge, the girls barreled through the bus door, tumbling inside just as the darkness lunged with a desperate hiss, a cacophony of howls that echoed off the walls. The driver slammed the doors shut, sealing them off from the nightmare outside. "Go! Go!" he yelled, slamming the accelerator down. The bus lurched forward, lights piercing the thick fog, illuminating the chaotic outline of trees bending under the pressure of the storm. Lily's heart raced, but relief washed over her like a cool breeze amidst a blistering heat. They had escaped at least for now, but Maggie was trembling beside her, her expression a mixture of disbelief and horror. "We did it, right?" she whispered, her mind swirling in a tempest of confusion. "We did," Lily reassured, though uncertainty festered deep within her gut. The constant echo of that girl's laughter lingered, haunting the edges of her consciousness like smoke that wouldn't dissipate. "Maggie," she said, turning to her friend, the seriousness of their journey settling heavily between them. "We have to find a way to stop him. Whoever he is, we can't let him hurt anyone else." Maggie nodded, wiping away tears with determination. "I have to find my mom. And we have to tell people about him. He's not human." That thought ignited a fire in Lily. "Then let us find help. We need to get to the police. We need to warn them." The bus sped through empty streets, but there was a new sense of purpose in their movements. They were no longer just running. They were fighting for their lives, for freedom, and for the stolen children who might still be trapped in the shadows. The city lights shimmered in the distance, a beacon pulling them forward. It was alive, bustling with the hum of a world that continued, oblivious to the horrors lurking just beyond the veil, but hope stood side by side with fear. What if no one believed them? What if that creature whispered its lies in darker corners? "Don't think about that," Maggie urged, sensing her friend's growing anxiety. With the city looming larger ahead, they would confront a new battle, a challenge to awaken the world to the truth that many would rather ignore. As they neared the police station, a sense of quiet resolve settled over the girls. They had witnessed the darkness, they could face the light. Lily squeezed Maggie's hand tight. "Whatever happens next, we face it together." "Together," Maggie echoed, the strength of that word carrying a weight deeper than the shadows they just escaped. As the bus rolled to a stop, they stepped out into the crisp night air, clarity rushing back into their bones. The world was brighter, louder, but still somewhere, lurking in the whispers and shadows of a cold, dark night, the darkness was waiting, but not today. Today was a new dawn for two brave girls determined to reclaim their lives and bring light to the shadows. The moment was filled with promise and resolve. They turned toward the police station. "I know we can do this," Maggie said, a smile breaking through her fear. "Yeah, we can. Let us go." And as the doors opened, the night gave way to hope, each step pulling them closer to freedom, each promise of a tomorrow burning brightly against the lingering darkness. The battle wasn't over. But they were ready. Their journey to stop the shadows had just begun. You need to subscribe now to catch all the exclusive content coming your way. This is the moment to show your support. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm. I want to hear from you. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this wild ending. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Your support means everything.